in the book about the 2016 election. This whole thing is hard for me to write. I couldn't sleep for 2 years after the election. I was so angry. I wasn't fit to be around. I apologize to all those who endured my outbursts, rage, which lasted for years, and bothered or bored people who thought it was pointless to rehash things that couldn't be changed. In this chapter, I've tried to calmly write about the darkest election possible in the United States because it's important to understand what happened.
It's easier for us to know what happened in 2016 in some ways than it is what happened in 2024 in terms of all the, because in 2016 you had two highly unusual things. First of all, the mainstream media told the American people repeatedly that the biggest issue was Hillary's emails. That's what they said, not just Fox. When in fact, even the Trump State Department said she neither sent nor received a single solitary email on her personal device marked classified, one. And two, she followed the rules as they then existed. The rules were changed after she left office. And yet the whole story was written as if she had done something hideous. And then James Comey made it worse.
In his July press conference where he came out, said she wasn't indicted, but for the first time decided he was going to pontificate about what he thought.
And he said she was careless, and I told the story in the book about how when President Obama called to tell me that bin Laden had been killed in this successful raid, he said, "We did it." And I said, "Did what?" He said, "We got bin Laden. Hillary didn't tell you?" And I laughed. I said, "Now, Mr. President, you told your people not to tell anybody, didn't you?" He said, "Yeah, but," I said, "she didn't tell anybody." Right. I mean, Hillary's a sort of down-the-line person, you know. So it was ludicrous, the extent to which people went to essentially fabricate a smear on her and I think they did it because they thought they had to mention something bad about her if they said something bad about Trump.
We saw the same thing not so long ago of the Hunter Biden pardon. You look at the first 5, 6, 7 stories on the New York Times site, it's all about that. First 5, 6, 7 on the Washington Post site, all about that. On the same day that a man is picked to be the next FBI director who said he had a list of enemies over 60 long and he was going to throw reporters, journalists, editors in jail.
It is true that it is highly unlikely, I think, that anyone who was where Hunter Biden was would have been facing a substantial jail sentence for something he did when he was under the influence of drugs and when he has paid back and paid his fines for all the taxes he owed. Whatever you think about that, it pales in comparison with a deliberate use of the criminal justice system to punish your political enemies. This whole thing has been thrown off for several years now because of the dominance of what I call Roy Cohn politics. Roy Cohn was Senator Joe McCarthy's main advisor. Then he came back and he was Donald Trump's father's main political advisor, and then President Trump. And Roy Cohn said, no matter what happens, always deny everything, always attack, and always accuse other people of doing what you're doing. And pretty soon, the most important people who believe that are your own supporters. And then nobody believes anybody about anything. We need to go back and meet people where they live and talk to them about what they're interested in. I realize that, you know, it's easy to underestimate the intelligence of people when they're focusing on what they care about. But you've got to deal with what people are living with. President Biden will leave office with a record of having more jobs created in his 4 years than in any previous 4-year period in American history. No matter how many, if that number were 50 million, it'll be about 16 to 18, somewhere between that. If it were 50 million, it would be nowhere near the number of people who are affected by inflation and food prices. So you have to discuss these things. You can't pretend no business, no marriage, no friendship, no nothing can succeed and thrive if you don't deal with the pink elephant in the room.
Talk about how Democrats maybe could learn from that and maybe stop firing at each other and start working together.
Look, I don't even believe the real problem is whether you should be more verbally left or center. I think you got to talk like people talk who will make the difference in the outcome of the election. You don't have to sell out what you believe in, but you do have to meet people where they live. And you can't get very far avoiding it. Like, you and I have now been friends for years. We've got our political differences and we've got a political history, but I know you and I like you. Now, suppose you and Mika just did a makeover of your living room, and you asked me to come visit. And I visit, and it is beautiful. Everything about it is beautiful, except in the corner, you've got this beautiful curved couch, but behind the couch, there's a pink elephant. Yeah. And now, I could ask you, I said, I guess you're still a Republican, you just turned a little pink? No. Or something, we could do it, we find it. It almost doesn't matter what I say. The one thing I cannot do is to come in, drink your coffee, talk about how beautiful your living room is, and turn around and not mention the pink elephant.
And ignore it. I think a lot of Democrats, a lot of people like me, independents, I was focused on Donald Trump's political rhetoric, his violent political rhetoric. I said, it sounded like fascist rhetoric to me. You combine that with January 6th, you combine it with everything else. I kept talking about that every day because for me, that was what mattered the most to me. But the pink elephant over there, that's the cost of groceries. That's the cost of gas. That's the thing they've got to take care of first, right?
Yep. Well, the average person believes, whether they voted for President Trump or not the first time, that we survived it. Right. And they give him perhaps too much credit for the fact that in the first 2.5 years or so of his presidency, the first time, the economy got better. I think the facts are that he inherited the end of the Obama era's recovery. We went from 8 million jobs in Obama's last 2 years to 6.5 million in Trump's first 2 years. But there was no inflation, and people felt it. So we had to see that election the way they did and answer that and start with that. So when we didn't answer it, it was like we left the pink elephant in the living room. There is a reason why we're already the longest continuously existing democracy in history. It's hard to save one. That's fine. But if you're going to fight to save it in an election system with all these forces raining down on you, that's the game you got to play. You got to deal with the issues that affect other people's lives. And the same thing's true all around the world. Look at this upheaval is happening. People are losing faith in institutions, and in many, many places, they're going to reward the people that destroyed their faith. I wouldn't bet against America. So far, everybody that's bet against us has lost money. We just got to stay after it.
All right, Mr. President. The book is Citizen. What a great honor. Thank you so much. It's great seeing you again. Yes, sir.
Thank you.